Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Postgame Show podcast, and the winning ways are back. Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Delmendo in our West Loop studios. Hey, now that's more like it, Cody. That's more like it. Final 12 games of the regular season. This was a big start to that stretch. Cubs right on the fringe of making the postseason. 14-1 over the Pirates. Did you hear that stat at the end of the game? 88 to 28, they've outscored Pittsburgh this season.
Yeah, that's
Thank goodness for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
They're still the Pirates.
Yeah, the death taxes, the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Amen.
Yeah, no, this one, this is a type of game that we've been
begging for.
Not just whenever I was on vacation, but even before that. So it's nice to get an easy one. It's nice to be able to get some of these young guys in there and get some at bats and prove that they're, can actually be, help the team win. It's about time Alexander Canario got a start tonight, and he took full advantage of the opportunity. I don't care if it was 6-1 when he hit the grand slam. That was awesome, and it's just nice to see the offense break out a bit. When I say this, I genuinely mean it. I mentally needed it. I mentally needed this game. If they lost this game, I was going to go home and spiral some more. Probably was going to have to make a drive-through Taco Bell, spend another $30. I couldn't do it. I don't know if I would have been able to make it to the entire postgame. But they won. So
I don't even know who to give credit to. Right?
It's the Rice Krispies.
Well, the people in the chat, Craig is saying no longer can Cody wear shorts, pants, and only pants because it's a 1-0 now. The season started over. Braggs wants you doing beer bat chugs, which will be coming up with a full pocket Pilsner. And yes, to our friends at Kellogg's, it may seem like I'm begging for a sponsorship. In reality, I'm just looking for free Rice Krispie treats, okay? I'll send you my home address, but the Rally Rice Krispie treats, I had one during the rain delay, and I said, this is going to spark everything. 5 minutes later, the tarp comes off. The next thing you know, since then, the Cubs have outscored their opponents 14-1. Tell me Rally Rice Krispie treats aren't a real thing.
Well, Ryan kind of told us that first pitch was starting at 8:05.
Yeah, but you can't trust Ryan.
And you said this a handful of minutes after he let us know.
Cody.
But don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. Don't let the
That's
facts
right.
get in.
Hold on, here
But you want to know what actual facts are? Actual facts.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Breaking news.
We have breaking news. Huge breaking news.
CHGO, breaking news.
Only we are reporting this news. The St. Louis Cardinals have been eliminated from playoff contention, and I was told 7 All-Stars and running away with the division. And they've been eliminated from playoff contention. God bless!
We are now reporting, CHGO has now confirmed the Cardinals are out of it.
Oh, God.
Officially out of it.
I was told better organization, too, by a certain person.
Since I had that Rally Rice Krispie treat, the Cardinals have never made the playoffs.
Oh, Cardinals are 0-1.
That's true.
Cardinals are
0-2 when I eat the Rally Rice Krispie.
No, they won last night. Well, anyway, they're 0-1 since the Rally Rice Krispies were brought back.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
I see our guy Gary in the chat says Canario is him. Listen, if Fields isn't him, maybe it can be Canario.
Yeah, if Justin Fields isn't him,
if
then
he's
someone
not
else
the guy,
can be him. I don't know who is him, but if Canario wants to be the guy, he can be him.
Hello
Bragg
to
says
everybody.
you hate to see it, but also you love to see it. Yes.
Oh, you got the old water bath. Hey, shout out to everybody in the live YouTube chat. Best way to enjoy the CHGO experience. Make sure you subscribe to CHGO Sports YouTube page so you don't miss any shows, and then jump in on the wild chat after the game and have a good time with us. Cody, well, for those of you just joining for the very first time, Cody, after a win at home while we're doing a show, he has his Wrigley Field beer bat, and he will chug an ice-cold Goose Island beer. And, we take wagers, if you want, on how fast that might be. We did have one that didn't go well, and then our boss came in and tried to blame the losing streak on it. No, because now, tonight, this is redemption night.
It is redemption night.
It doesn't matter if you do it in 2 minutes, Cody. Get the beer bat down smooth and put an end to any rumors that had anything to do with anything.
The last 5 days have been miserable.
Nightmares.
Not just because the Cubs lose, but because y'all won't leave me alone.
Cody thought he was having night sweats. It turned out he was just in Arizona where it's 110 degrees.
That too. it was big of me to like hang out on social media when I was on vacation, share some pictures, share some good stuff. In case none of y'all have been to Coors Field or Chase Field, it was big of me to do that. Instead, I do that, and then every time the Cubs lost, you guys all wanted to blame me. But, here I am, and still here doing the show.
Big of you.
Big of me to be here. And, I deserve some credit. So that's what I have to say to y'all who have been yelling at me for the last 6 days.
You know what? We usually wait to give out our DraftKings King of the Game, but I think we should probably start with it because the story is just another one of those great stories. There it is. DraftKings King of the Game. There he is. Rookie Alexander Canario. First major league start. He gets 2 hits, a home run, by the way, a grand slam, and 5 ribbies. This is a guy who had not one major injury, 2 major injuries that looked, you were like, okay, I don't know if he's ever going to play baseball again. I believe it was dislocated ankle or broken ankle and dislocated shoulder, one of the two. Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. 2 major injuries, and somehow he made it back from both of them to not only play baseball this season, but to get his big league call-up in a pennant race and drive in 5 runs in his first major league start. If that wasn't a feel-good story, did you see the way Morel and PCA and the other young guys that have been around him more were reacting in the dugout?
Yeah, just Morel ripped his jersey off.
but I mean, guys were going up and just giving big hugs. It wasn't just, hey, you got your first major league home run. This was, man, you've been through a lot, and to get here, a lot of people feel good for him. Corey Friedman checking in. He was there with his season tickets. Big shot. Vibes were immaculate at beautiful historic Wrigley Field tonight. All caps.
All caps.
That reads like somebody who stopped at Sunnyside before the game. Or maybe the caps lock is on. Super chat from Yama. Cody, hope you had fun on vacation despite the losses. Big of you to keep showing up at the games.
Thank you, Yama. I appreciate that. That's nice to read. I did have fun. I recommend Coors. I don't recommend Chase Field. Chase Field is mid, but Coors Field's awesome.
That's enough free advertising until they send me some free Rice Krispies.
Yeah. However, I'm gonna
hashtag at Kellogg's on Twitter.
I'm gonna probably eat one of those.
Oh, you're gonna have one?
Yeah.
You think it might help the beer bat go down? You want to eat it first? I'll talk a little bit if you need to eat it. We don't need a full mouth.
No, I'm not gonna eat it first, but I'm gonna eat one. Even though I shouldn't. Someone on the internet told me the other day I need to stop eating. But
treat yourself. Here you go. Treat yourself. Handing them out to everybody. It's like trick or treat around here.
Yeah, if you're here, if Corey was here and did postgame with us, we could have gave him one too.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
We have 153 people in the chat with only 25 likes. Make that make sense to me. I'm not a math guy, and I know Luke isn't either.
No, I don't math. I went to Valpo.
But yeah, no, vacation was awesome, and I was able to chug a beer out there. Because I missed the entire game.
Oh yeah, that's right, from your buddy's house.
From my buddy's house. But then after that, every game I went to, unfortunately, I lost, of course. But the vibes are back. They snapped the 5-game losing. I think, I said this in pregame, Luke. I said that they needed to get the monkey off the back.
Yeah.
And that is what they did tonight, and they did in the big way. And all I know is that I feel so much better going into tomorrow than I have felt in at least a week.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does this graphic at all describe sort of how you were feeling?
Yes.
That's how it was.
Yes. Lay it on us, Cubs. I think we're all ready to be hurt again.
I was ready to be hurt again going into tonight. But I put out a video today when I woke up and just said that I'm not giving up on this team. They've gone through adversity. They've been very resilient all year. So I'm going to ride this out, and whether I'm right or wrong, whatever. I'm not blaming you if you think the season is still over. But listen, the Reds lost tonight.
Yeah.
I know the Marlins won, and the Diamondbacks are probably going to win. But tomorrow, you're going to wake up, and the Cubs are still going to be right there with another chance to gain some ground, and hopefully some of these teams lose. All right? I'd rather be in this position than be where the Cardinals are. I'd rather be in this position than where a bunch of the other teams behind us are. So that's my optimism. And I don't know. Like, there's plenty of things to complain about on why things are where they're at, but there's still a chance to dance.
That's right.
And that's all that matters to me at this point. Just get in somehow, some way. I can sit here and complain to you about the division and how they should have taken it over, but
with the Cardinals eliminated,
right? There's all kinds of things. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But at the end of the day, they're still right there, and there's still a chance to get one of these last 3 spots and play with house money.
Yeah, I'll repeat what I said in the pregame show. Before the game, there were 12 games left, and it was a horrible stretch before that. I choose to look at these last. Some people are, and this is okay, I'm not telling you how to Cub. If you've given up on the team, that's okay. I'm looking at it as this. The Bears are bad. Okay? The Bulls are going to be bad, and the Blackhawks have 1 player. So I'm embracing this as our last shot to make the playoffs in a long time.
Check out that super chat right there.
So I'm embracing these 12 games, and I'm going to enjoy them for
Look
what
at
they
that
are.
super chat from Brennan.
Brennan, the super chat. Well, the Bears might be bad, but the goddamn Chicago Cubs are not. Aren't. Listen.
They're fun. They should be.
I did say a couple weeks ago this may not be the next great Cubs team, but it's the next fun Cubs team that took a brief hiatus, but it was back tonight with a 14-1 win over the Pirates. All right, now time for the dedication and any guesses you might have on Cody's beer bat time. There is a large head of foam on that beer bat, not his finest pour. Take that into consideration as you get ready to make your wagers.
Well, while you guys put the guesses in the chat, I will say tonight's beer bat goes to Dansby Swanson, someone we haven't mentioned yet.
Okay.
All right? He struggled in Arizona, and what's he do? He does what leaders do. He got the Cubs on the board in the first inning. And I don't know about y'all, but in the top of the first inning, when the Pirates had a couple guys on and the ass man was giving up some contact, I was already miserable. I was already thinking we were going to lose the game. And that's what happens when I get in my really, 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 really negative mindset, which I've been the last 6 days. The ass man gets out of it, and what happens? The bottom of the inning, I think Nico Horner walked, and Dansby Swanson hit a homer. And I don't care that Baseball Savant said that homer was only leaving Wrigley Field. It's home field advantage for a reason, all right? So I think it was huge that he got the Cubs on the board, and it kind of took off some pressure in terms of winning that game. So I just want to – this one's for him.
So we've got bets coming in anywhere from 9 seconds to 15 seconds. It's a wide range. We had a couple that were exactly in – look at that. Fernando and Shea both 11.8, so that seems to be 11.6. I've seen a lot of people thinking this is coming in just slightly over 11 seconds. That's what the standard Vegas trend is right now, right around 11 seconds. We've had as high as people going 15 seconds.
He's rusty.
Zero confidence.
He's a little rusty.
Confidence.
Yeah.
First beer bat in a while.
Brennan wants to know in a super chat. Brennan wants to know, Cody, is the beer better at Chase or Wrigley?
Oh, definitely at Wrigley. Definitely at Wrigley.
Beer's better,
better at the CHGO
I will say
studios.
this, it's cheaper at Chase. I'll say that.
Oh, ouch. Let's get to the beer bat. Let's keep to the good
That's
stuff.
on you, Tom.
All right, here we go.
Ready?
Cody Demino.
You tell me when to start it, Stucky.
I start it when I see the beer hit his lips.
Tell me when.
Now. Right now. There goes Del Mendo. He's chugging through this. So far, he's nice and clean through this one. Nice and
halfway
clean.
through.
Through the barrel, and wow. I've got 8.93.
I got 8.42, but yeah, good. We'll split the difference. I think 8.75.
Big of me.
That was maybe the fastest I've ever seen.
Here's what I'm going to say.
The full pocket.
I've seen a lot of comebacks this year. Canario's was incredible. To come back from that injury and then get 5 RBI and a grand slam in his first major league start. We've seen Justin Steele turn into a possible Cy Young winner, right? Incredible.
Let's go.
We've seen Kyle
curse
Hendricks come back.
on.
The curse is lifted.
It's not even the curse. That's the fastest beer bat of the season. After all, everyone was giving him. Come on.
Wow, Joey's going to come out and saber-tooth one. Oh, and he's going to. Oh, I thought it was a hug.
We're all just getting high fives around
Rice
here.
Krispie, buddy? You want another Rice Krispie, buddy? Here you go. Another Rice Krispie, buddy. That was a goat chug. That is right. Cody was thirsty. That's right. 10-game winning streak. Listen, I have
3 Rice Krispies now on the desk.
I'm now going to eat my Rice Krispie too.
This is a 6-game homestand against the Pirates and the Rockies, 2 absolute dog teams. Minimum 5 out of 6. You have to go 5-1 on this homestand. Good start. 1-0. Real good start, 1-0. 14-1, they pound them. And now you get Steele on the mound tomorrow. That's what's coming. So, and they've been able to adjust. We'll talk more about that, but they've been able to adjust the rotation a little bit because of the day off. Good news moving forward. Shane wants Cade Horton coming to the show. Matt says Cody is so back. Katie,
I honestly
the vibes
thought about it.
immaculate.
I've been thinking about it since like Saturday. It's like
about the beer bat.
Yeah, I honestly was thinking about it because I've just everyone in this office knows
Pressure. That's a lot of pressure.
Everyone in this office knows I'm the biggest grudge guy, and I have read all of your mean tweets, and I have read all your slander. And Ryan Herrera, I've read all your mean messages in Cubs Slack channel.
Keep that same energy. The beer bat curse. What is it now?
Joel says
sub 9-second beer bat. What is it now?
8-9-3 is what I have. What did you have? 8-7-2?
I had 8-4, but you have a closer view on when the beers.
I'm gonna say we're gonna wait 8-5.
8-5.
We'll call it 8-5 is the new record. 8-5. 8-5 after one of the biggest Cubs wins of the season. Delmendo sets a record on the heels of what was, we'll just call it a disaster.
I showed up
a couple
when it
weeks
mattered
ago.
most.
He did. You didn't walk away from the media.
I did.
You came out to your locker and you said, I'll be back. I'll chug it again. And now I'm determined to do it. There it is. Cody Delmendo, man of the people. Man of the people. But remember, it wasn't necessarily the beer bat that saved the season. It was this Rally Rice Krispie treat from Kellogg's.
Shout out to Kellogg's.
That's what sparked it. We have any more super chats that I missed?
Fernando here.
Ross has to hate playing new guys instead of cold bats that got us here. I expect new guys to be benched next game. Meaning, will Canario play again? Tommy Birch.
Oh, I saw that tweet. Tommy
the
Birch.
Shade from Iowa.
Yeah.
Wow, great debut. He might have just earned himself a chance at pinch hitting tomorrow.
Right.
That was some shade.
Well, he deserves it. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that you got to play Alexander Canario, or even before tonight. I never said you had to play Alexander Canario every day. But you called him up, and he literally had one at bat. He didn't play at all last week. His one at bat was in a blowout win against the Giants, against their closer when the Cubs were up by like 6 or 7 runs. Like, the fact that you didn't even give him any pinch hitting chances is just astonishingly bad. I'm sorry. And like, I think everyone in this show that's in the chat knows that, like, I try my best to give David Ross a fair chance and try to understand some of the moves he makes and all this. But this is one that I just never understood. You called a guy up. He's in the top 10 of your farm system. You got him for Chris freaking Bryant. And you're not going to play him because he didn't help you. He didn't help the team get where they were. I swear to God, if he's not going to at least start getting more pitch hitting chances, I'm going to blow a gasket.
One more super chat here from Boom Tater Tot. Thoughts on Ross this season with how up and down the roster has been? We could table that one for a little bit, but I just wanted it was a weird super chat where he super chatted, then he attached the comment. So I just want to make sure we get that one. But we could circle back there if you want to. Sorry to sort of derail all that just now. Stucky's a little busy chewing. Right.
Do you agree with me on that for the most part?
Sorry, he's eating his Rice Krispie.
I was eating a Rice Krispie treat.
We just have fun here.
What was this gist of it?
The gist was they should have been at least giving a Canario.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Canario.
I'm not saying he had to start or anything, just like pinch hitting.
The offense couldn't do anything.
Yeah. Now, when they first called him up,
I agree with that.
When they first called him up, the Cubs were playing okay. I know they split the series with the Reds, I think, Yeah, they split that series with the Reds, I believe, and then they swept the Giants, and then that's when things started to go downhill with that losing 3 or 4 against the Diamondbacks, and then you go to Colorado, you lose 2 or 3 there, and then obviously you just got swept by the Diamondbacks in Arizona. At some point in that stretch, he never thought to actually just put him in there until tonight, and it's just kind of like, Like, what are we doing? Why is he even here? And so, like, that's been my biggest thing with David Ross all season. Hasn't been, I mean, there's been lineup things that have pissed me off, but, like, none of it has pissed me off like this. Like, he did this with Morel in certain parts when he first got called up this year, even last year. Just not using some of the young guys, like, that are pitchers. And, it felt like he didn't have the trust with some of them either, but Jordan Wicks didn't help the team get here, but they called him up and he's been starting. Like there's just like some inconsistency with it. Like, I don't understand why Jordan Wicks is getting the full opportunity, but Alexander Canario wasn't until tonight. And they were up 6-1 when he hit the grand slam, whatever. He got the RBI double as his first career hit, but that's the one thing from this entire season from David Ross that I've just not understood. You call a guy up and then just to bench him and not play him at all doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. But hopefully, like, I will knock on all kinds of wood. I will cross all my fingers. I'll get on my knees and freaking pray if I have to. Hopefully, Canario at least gets some chances now.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you would hope he earned some playing time.
Yeah.
Whether that's as a DH or whatever you want, or a pinch, like you said, even pinch hitting. I wanted to see him in that Arizona game where it was just like they couldn't get a run. Mm-hmm. It was like every opportunity
that
to
Friday
score.
Game?
Yes, it was like, please just give him it back.
Even
like,
the Sunday game too. Yeah.
Well, today's lineup. One thing we noted in the pregame show, it was homer heavy. And we've been saying, like, listen, they've been losing too many one-run games. And one way to not have a one-run game, hit some home runs.
Right.
And that's how do you get 14 runs? Well, 12 hits helps. But Bellinger hit a home run, Swanson hit a home run, Suzuki hit a home run, and now Canario hit you had 4 home runs in the game. When you hit 4 home runs, you generally win the game.
Right.
Period. Yeah. And so it just makes such a big difference. And I'm not saying I just want all strikeout or bust guys, but you have to have guys in the lineup that can hit home runs.
Yeah.
And Cody Bellinger can't be expected to be that guy every single night just because he's been really good this season. Now, I will say I looked at the numbers, and Swanson's up to 21, Seiya's up to 19, Bellinger's up to 26. That was his longest homer of the season tonight, which was hard to believe.
Yep.
And those 3 guys, they may not have a 30 home run guy. But I will say if Bellinger's healthy all season, he is a 30 homer guy. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, Seiya starting, we expected when we saw him come all beefed up to spring training and healthy, we were like, okay, Seiya's going to hit 25 or more. Because that's kind of the guy that was sold to us when they signed him the year before in free agency. And then it didn't really happen. What did he have, 14 last year?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but again, the injury slows everything down. But boy, he's finishing strong. And now I look at the guy, and while I was willing to say, well, I don't know what they're going to do in the offseason, but he's a piece that if he becomes my 4th outfielder, so be it. I'm not so sure anymore. Now he could be my DH. Now he could be my right fielder. Because I look at Seiya the way he's finished the season, and I say, next year I'd expect him to hit 25 home runs. If injuries don't happen, knock on wood, he's a 25 homer guy. And you got to bring Bellinger back because he's a 30 homer guy. But Dansby has lived up to it. He hit 27 2 years ago, and he hit 25 last year. So that's right around his number right now in his prime, 25 homers. Okay, he's not Carlos Correa. But he still gives you some power.
Well, Carlos Correa is actually having a pretty bad year.
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying in general, when everybody's saying like, guarantee that's a podcast in the offseason. We will compare Dansby Swanson each offseason now to the guys that they decided to take him over at shortstop. I think he's done pretty well this year.
Yeah, I went through that exercise the other day. He compares very, very favorably to the other 3.
And his defense has been spectacular until
leads baseball.
Until a little bit.
He's among the tops in baseball.
I believe he's number 1 in.
I don't do the Del metrics, but
the DRR too, or the DRS.
Yeah.
That's not Dell metrics. That's
I don't know about his WOBA, but his outs above average is tops in baseball.
Savant, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, back to Seiya.
Yeah.
Ryan had a good tweet earlier. Big of me to say, considering how mean he's been to me in the Cubs Slack channel.
He'll have a chance to apologize. He's
not
coming up
going
on the
to.
show
I
later.
know who he is. Since he returned to the lineup August 9th, Ryan tweeted this. After he sat for like 3 games. Seiya Suzuki has 10 home runs and 25 extra base hits and 151 plate appearances. That's pretty solid. I mean, he really has been, like, ever since the reset, he really has been great. And that's kind of, that was kind of why going into tonight in pregame, I was thinking maybe Swanson needs one. But he showed up when the Cubs really needed him. They needed him to show up tonight. He hits that 2-run homer in the first. It's maybe it's just certain guys that need that reset. I don't know, but we talked about it before, like when he was struggling and he was on the bench, and we were talking about who's playing here. And at the time, Tauchman was playing so well, and people were like, "Oh yeah, Tauchman in right field, we're gonna be great." And I remember, like, I think all of us on this set sat here and said that Seiya Suzuki, he's got to get right. This team can get to the playoffs if he gets right, and he got right.
And then everybody else stopped hitting.
Right, yeah, and everyone else stopped hitting. So I'm happy that he's figured it out, and I've always been a believer. You look at him, you watch him take his at-bats, his approach, and everything. He looks like a guy who can hit 25 to 30 home runs a year, flirt with being an all-star, and be a major factor in the middle of your lineup. So, hopefully he stays hot these last handful of games and helps them get into October. They absolutely need him to continue to do what he's doing. And, I feel a lot better about him going into the off season than I did back in June or July. But the injury thing was huge. They just need him to, if he can get a full healthy season, I think he could really take off. And that's the big question with him is being able to stay on the field. But great game tonight. That home run was huge because the Pirates, I think it was 4-0. The Pirate, what was it? Key Brian Hayes. He hit that homer, made it 4-1. And then Seiya, the very next inning, Seiya responded with hitting the home run. And considering how the Cubs have been playing, like, it would not have surprised me if the Pirates would have came back if the Cubs didn't put on any more runs, right? So I'm glad that he responded, and he's just looked so good at the plate over these last month and a half.
Other outlets now reporting what we reported at the top of the show. I see Calypso and Evil Wax now reporting exactly the news we broke at the top of the show. The Cardinals have been eliminated from playoff contention.
And you should hit that like button.
And I will point out, because I am a man of integrity.
Ooh, big of you.
Thank you. Because I'm a man of integrity, I will admit that, again, I ruled this team as dead in the water 14 days before the trade deadline. I said dead in the water. Then I also said in this same newsroom, man of integrity again, I said, I think Seiya Suzuki might just be another player.
You did.
And I might be wrong about both things.
Big of you to admit.
Man of integrity, game 3. I have all the receipts.
Credit to me.
Everyone in the chat.
Listen, I around the same time I thought we were done too. After they
were
lost
true.
2 or 3 of the Red Sox, I think I was done. Or it was maybe like they lost the 2 or 3 of the Red Sox and then lost the first game against the Nationals, and I was like, I'm done. This team's done. And then they took off, and so I don't know. But that's why I haven't given up on the rest of this season, because
I didn't see Seiya's turnaround coming.
I didn't either.
I didn't.
The way that it's been, at least.
I will say, we keep asking the question, and I know that we're going to go through it a lot this offseason. What about David Ross? How do you grade him? One move you can give him credit for was sitting Seiya down and saying, just sit back, relax, enjoy a seat on the bench for a few days.
Yep.
Maybe it came too late, but when he did it, the results have been there. So I feel
like a little bit with Morel too. like there was a little stretch there where Morel wasn't really playing, but
Yes.
he hit 3 homers last week. I know they didn't win. They won one game last week if you go back to just last Monday, but he had a homer on Friday. He had a homer in Colorado, and I feel like tonight he had good at-bats again too. So I don't feel like we're watching Morel strike out nearly as much as we were in August. And maybe perhaps because he was not getting as much playing time, recently before this past week and a half or so, maybe that helped him as well. But the thing is now, Morel with Madrigal out, he is getting the full opportunity at third. I thought he had a nice play at third base in that first or second inning.
It was a solid play at third.
Yeah,
no issues at third tonight.
Yeah, no issues at third, and like
1 for 1 in his chances.
It was like a softly hit ball,
Slow roller, charged it.
He charged it, picked it up, and and made the play. And like that's all you can ask for. I mean, again, not a lot of balls hit to him tonight, but I want to see him play third and do well there, because if he can be that guy, man, that really changes this team for next year.
Well, then you can spend your money elsewhere.
Yeah.
In the offseason.
And I know like 12 games or whatever isn't going to decide it or whatever.
You're probably still going to have a solid backup plan.
Right. Maybe Candelario's the guy. I don't know. But
for 1 year.
For 1 year, yes. But I liked what we saw from Morel at third, and I've liked what we've seen from Morel at the plate, over the last week and a half or so. So, it's good. It's good to see. Now, some of the guys who are struggling still, they got to continue to work at bats and do better. I'll say this. I thought Wisdom had good at bats tonight. He almost hit a homer. And I feel like Wisdom overall has been, at least in his small role, he's been fine.
He also made a pretty nice play at first, pulling down that catch and getting over and getting back to the bag. Again, I've been critical of having him at first base, but it was a nice, man of integrity. I admit.
Pat Leather.
I still don't want him playing first base.
I don't either.
I
don't either.
Pat Leather.
Yeah.
Don't know what you guys are talking about.
So people in the chat, let me get this straight. This is the lineup people would like to see tomorrow. Morel at third base. They'd like to see PCA in center. And they'd like to see Canario as the DH.
And Bellinger at first.
Bellinger at first.
That would be my ideal defensive alignment.
Guys can hit wherever you want, but that position-wise, that's what you would like to see tomorrow.
With where the roster is right now, that is what I would like to see. I don't know the pitching matchup or anything, but still, I said this in pregame, considering Tauchman has been over the last 30 games or so. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's been so awful to where you can't play him at all, but I think it's not been good. It hasn't been so great to where you can't play PCA at all. I think that considering the defense and even the approach, he walked tonight in his first bat at Wrigley. I think that it's okay to go ahead and play him. Now, if Tauchman was still hitting like he was in June and July and half of August, then I wouldn't be complaining about not seeing more PCA. But because Tauchman hasn't been that guy, I would like to see them play PCA more. I would. And again, it was good to see him get in there tonight as defensive replacement, and he made some plays. He worked that really good at bat, whatever. Still hasn't got his first hit yet, but I would like to see more PCA. I'm glad that they're at least giving him a chance. Kind of like what they're doing with PCA is all I ever really asked for Canario whenever he first got the call up at the beginning of the month, was just pitch hit every now and then, maybe defensive replacement if you have to, or just put him in the DH role. I know the defense isn't nearly as good as Ian Happ or Seiya Suzuki, but you get what I'm saying.
Right.
It's just give him some chances, and they just didn't do that. And so I'll give David Ross credit to that to some extent, that they have at least used him. But I would like to see more, just because it's not like you're getting a ton out of center field anyway, unless you're playing Bellinger in center like you did tonight.
Right. Okay, more to come, including Ryan Herrera joining us from Wrigley Field after he works the clubhouse and gets some sound. He also spoke with Ryan and the reporters at Wrigley Field, spoke to Jed Hoyer today. We'll have some of those comments. But we want to remind you, we're back with another week of football here, and DraftKings Sportsbook is keeping us in on the NFL action with great offers every single game day. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Throw $5 down on any of this week's epic matchups to walk away an instant winner. And DraftKings isn't stopping there. All new customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. Football's more fun when you're in on the action, so download the app now. Sign up with the code CHGO. New customers can bet just $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, with the code CHGO. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, help available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, Louisiana, 21 and older by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
So when I was in Colorado, I definitely used GameTime to go to Coors Field. And the beauty of it, Luke, was that I waited until the last few minutes before first pitch to go to the last game of the series, because GameTime has the best deals.
That's right.
Right before first pitch.
And you got good seats. You can also make sure you're not sitting behind a waterfall in Denver or whatever.
Right. And because of the pictures on the seats, right? And they also have like flash deals. I could have sat in right field for $11. I chose right field territory or right field foul territory. I think I spent like $10 more, but it was like row 2. So part of me was like, I kind of want to see Chris Bryant's face because I miss it sometimes.
Right.
So,
miss the scent.
Yeah. So that's where I sat, thanks to GameTime. All right. GameTime is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. All in prices show your total up front so you know where you're getting a great deal without hidden fees. Buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps. They're obsessed with finding ways to help you save money on tickets. GameTime has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats, find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. With zone deals, you pick the section, and GameTime picks the seats for an average of 18% savings, and GameTime guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, GameTime will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem with code CHGO for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. They changed the ad, and I adjusted quickly. Big of me.
Beautifully.
Credit to me.
Beautifully done. Well, because you're so used to using GameTime, it just rolled off the tongue for you.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I love it. So.
Hey, final 12 games of the regular season are underway. The Dirty Dozen, we're calling it. I believe the Cubs need to win at least 8 of those.
8-4?
At least 8 of those to make the postseason, maybe more. But this is a good start. 1-0 to start the final 12 games. We're getting what we wanted. Important games at the end of the regular season. The last 2 weeks, just forget about it for now. Right now, all you can focus on is the final 12 games. It looked pretty good. 14-1 over the Pirates. They've dominated Pittsburgh. Just dominated Pittsburgh. Thank goodness for the Pirates. And when you want to stop a losing streak, you call the ass man. And there it was. Man. Javier Assad did it again. Another good outing.
It is the autumn.
Another good outing. A career high 8 strikeouts tonight. And what I liked about this outing versus what he did in Colorado, which was not a good one in his previous start. Now, you could say a lot about Colorado's not easy to pitch. Everybody struggles there, but he had 4 walks. 1 walk tonight. 8 strikeouts. I like that ratio a lot better.
Yeah, he definitely has bounced back from his last 2 starts. And it's hard for me to have certain expectations for him because, I think
it's all gravy.
Yeah, the great thing about him is that he's been able to adjust to any role the Cubs have put him in. Remember, to start the year, he was like a long relief guy, and I felt like they were promoting him, demoting him because they needed to, call someone else up and they didn't need his services at that time or whatever. But he has made a huge impact on this team, honestly, since his first real start was against the Braves at Wrigley. Maybe it was Toronto. I can't remember. But, his start in Toronto was great, and that's the one I remember the most. And he was good enough against Atlanta in that lineup when the Braves came to Wrigley. But he's just been fine. He's been good enough. He's had great starts. That start in Cincinnati where he went 8 innings, and all of us in the chat watching probably still pissed that David Ross took him out and the Cubs blew that game. But, he's been everything that you could have hoped for. I don't have expectations for him. I just hope that I'm getting to a point where I'm expecting at least 5 innings from him of just solid, keep the Cubs in the game ball.
Almost every start he's given you. I mean, Wicks and Assad are gravy right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you expect what you expected from either guy. I thought Assad would be a bullpen guy this year. I hoped that he could be a Keegan Thompson last year. Yeah. Eat some innings, be a guy that could come in every couple days and do that. And, same thing, just like Seiya. He had some difficulties, didn't all go well. But when he came back right.
Yeah.
And he has contributed to this team he has helped push this team towards the playoffs. Not alone, but he's been a part of it.
Oh, yeah, he's made a major impact. And if this team makes the playoffs, obviously you're going to have Steele and Hendricks starting the first 2 games probably. I'd still probably go with Jordan Wicks over the ass man, but to be as game 3 guy. But once you get into a 7-game series, if they actually get to a 7-game series, he'd be a good number 4 for this team at least. In terms of just giving the team a chance. I would
look at us.
Something really excited here, by the way. Mm-hmm. We do have Jed Hoyer in the chat tonight.
Jed Hoyer's in the chat.
Yes. See his comment right
I'm
there.
In the chat. Be nice, you guys.
Wow.
Thank you.
And before the losing streak, I felt pretty good about Javier Assad. If the Cubs actually did make the playoffs and he had to pitch, just because he has pitched so well, and it's just and he pitched in the World Baseball Classic, we talked about it back in the spring, it was unreal what he did. So I
would
good with him.
I would have one question for Jed, and right away that would be: do you call Javier Assad the ass man, Jed?
That's the important question.
The important question. Is he taking over the Cubs clubhouse yet? Does the rest of the team call him the ass man?
They should.
They should. We're going to get to Mr. Ryan Herrera here in a second. Let's do our ad reads real quick. Cody, tell us about Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, and then we'll bring in Mr. Herrera for the final segment of the show.
It's big of us to do that, considering I don't want to. It's big of us.
Oh, boy.
Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your football season, no matter where you are on your cannabis journey. Easy online ordering and in-store pickup, great transparent loyalty programs, Sunnyside Rewards, Illinois' favorite dispensary. When I was in Colorado, especially, and people ask, "Oh, are there dispensaries in Illinois?" I was like, "Yeah, my favorite one's Sunnyside."
Right.
You
got nothing like it here in Colorado, unless they have Sunnyside.
Yeah, I don't know if they have Sunnyside.
I don't know if it's in Colorado.
I'd have to ask our friends at DMVR. Anyway,
If you do, it's the best one there.
Exactly. Absolutely. Some of the Sunnyside house of brands include Mindy's, the best tasting gummy and chocolate edibles created by James Beard award-winning chef Mindy Siegel in Cresco Labs. Good News, Cresco, High Supply, which offers quality weed that's always available. Buds are expertly grown, lab-tested, and available in vape carts, vape pens, flour, popcorn shakes, pre-rolls, shorties, and concentrates, and a whole lot more. Through October 15th, head to sunnyside.shop and use code CHGO25 at checkout for 25% off your total order. One use per customer, not stackable with other promotions. That's not only for new customers. Anyone can use our code. Pick up everything you need to elevate your football and baseball season. Must be 21 plus or an Illinois Med card holder.
Hey, you know what's critical right now? With all the stuff that's on television, all the sports that you can watch, you're going to have playoff baseball. You've got college football. Maybe you want to watch Colorado's next football game.
Take the over.
Texas.
Take the over. Texas, according to Joey.
Texas is back.
Maybe you want to watch.
Didn't say that.
Whatever.
Never said that.
You know? FuboTV, 140 plus live channels of sports, shows, movies, and news. You can stream live TV from any device. Watch the most Chicago sports for the lowest price. Start watching right away with their free trial. No contract, no cable, no hassle. Just sign up and start watching. 1,000 hours of cloud DVR included at no extra charge. You can watch your local teams while traveling because Marquee is right there on FuboTV. So that's one you can watch. You can take it with you on a fall vacation. Maybe you're going for fall foliage or something. You're like, I got to see this Cubs game. There's only 7 games left in the season. That's how you do it. You can watch the Bears, the NFL Network, Red Zone, Big Ten, college football, Ryder Cup, all of it. Watch all your favorite college football and NFL with Fubo. Go to www.FuboTV.com/CHGO to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro. I can tell you, the streaming is so clean. It's just like watching television at home. You put it on your phone, you put it on your tablet, or you stream it to your television at home, however you want to do it. But Fubo TV, highly recommend it. All right.
Absolutely.
We ready for the interaction between Cody and Ryan here as we bring in the third member of the CHGO Cubs podcast team?
Ready as
Mr.
we'll
Ryan
ever be.
Herrera has joined us from beautiful historic Wrigley Field, where he witnessed in person from the press box the Cubs winning 14-1 over your Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah, thank you, Pittsburgh. All right, so, Ryan, first of all, what was said in the clubhouse after the game? Because obviously everyone's becoming critical at this point.
Yeah, I think everyone pretty much said like they kind of needed that win, and everyone felt that way. Like that, like players, fans, everyone watching, like the Cubs needed this kind of win. Maybe not a 14-1 blowout, but just like a comfortable win. Offense getting back on track, pitching well, and you saw that, right? It was a great pitching performance all around, and the bats came alive. And coming off that 2-8 stretch over 10 games, it felt like a kind of free fall, so to speak, for a little while there. And they come home, they get the wind blowing out a little bit, like Dansby's first inning 2-run home run, maybe a little bit wind aided to get into the basket, but just like they were relentless. The offense looked. I don't know how much one day off on Monday really helps, but it looked like they kind of got, the wind's back in their sails a little bit, and they never stopped going. And, we talk about Canario's grand slam, and, he's talking about how it's surreal to think in January he was in a boot moving around on a scooter, and now he's hitting the grand slam in the major leagues. And, we talked to Ian Happ, and just him talking about how much the offense needed a day like this, and just the mindset of, what we talked about, right? Like to wash it away one day at a time, like come back and try to win again tomorrow and try to play better tomorrow. Like that, I think some of those veterans in that locker room do a good job of keeping that kind of vibe going. And, you get the day off on Monday, you get to come back home and play in front of the fans. And they do what they did today. And that's obviously huge for them to kind of start to turn this whole thing around.
So will Canario play tomorrow?
Maybe. The lineup's not out. I don't know.
Right, I know.
Did David Ross talk about
He didn't
Canario?
say, hey, he's earned more playing time, or did he?
Did he explain pregame why he put Canario in, I guess?
Well, I think a lot of it, or, at least what played a factor was they're out of, like, middle infielders, corner infielders, right? Like Madrigal went to the IL officially today. Jamer Candelario's on the IL already. They had a lefty on the mound to start, so they moved Morel from DH, his usual spot, over to third base, and had an opportunity to get Canario into the game today in that scenario. And he took advantage of his opportunity. I know Ross post game kind of talked about like being a young guy, the 28th man on the team. Like that's not an easy job, especially when you're not playing often. And you get into the argument of playing time or not. I've said it that there's probably spots that I would have put Canario in at some point between obviously that Giants series and now that he didn't get in, but he got in today, took advantage of his opportunity, and that's kind of something that David Ross actually said post game is like you kind of just got to wait your time when you're that guy at the end of the bench and you're coming up for the first time. Sometimes, especially in a situation like the Cubs are in, that he said that sometimes you just got to kind of wait and take advantage of the opportunities when they're given to you. Canario did that today, of course. We haven't seen a lineup for tomorrow. I don't even think the Pirates have announced a starter for tomorrow, so that might have to wait till that. But I think there's a part there where part of earning the manager's trust and taking advantage of your opportunities. Canario did that today, and with the injuries and maybe a little bit of a spark there, like maybe that's what earns him some of this playing time, earns him some of that trust from David Ross, earns him more opportunities to show what he can do. He got it done today, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow. But it was obviously that swing was really impressive by him. But he had the double earlier. Like it was a good day at the plate for him, and we've talked about it. Considering where he was like 9 months ago, that's very cool to see.
Yeah, I just thought the reaction in the dugout was really cool too. Like there were it was the younger guys, it was PCA and Morel, but guys that would know him well were just so excited for him. You could see that they were being honest with the way they were reacting to it. It wasn't just acting for the cameras because they might be on in the dugout. They were truly happy for him. All right, Jed Hoyer spoke before the game, so obviously, he's got to answer questions about the way they played coming into this game, which was terrible. Obviously a horrible road trip. Cody was there. He saw it firsthand. We watched it on TV. Awful baseball. And now you're playing two teams that you should beat. I want to see clean baseball. How did Jed Hoyer put it all into perspective now that we have tonight 11 games now left in the regular season?
So he talked about that road trip, and so he actually had this quote. It sort of felt like it came out of nowhere. We played so well leading up to that point. I don't think anyone expected us to suddenly go 2-8 in that stretch, but it happened, and now we've got to recover from it. And I don't think that's like wrong. It really did feel like it came out of nowhere, considering they had just swept the Giants at home, like pretty handily, and had a firm grasp on that second wild card spot. And they were playing a stretch of a lot of games in a lot of days. Like I think they had that like a one-off day around that Cincinnati series, but because of a doubleheader, it ended up being like a full 27 something days like that with 27 games in 27 days or something crazy like that. So there wasn't a whole lot of time off, and maybe that played into it a little bit, just a little bit of fatigue or whatever. Grinding through it to get to the end of that stretch. Probably played a part, but yeah, I think after that Giants series, you look at where they were at and you felt pretty comfortable, and then they do that, right? They go on the 2-8 stretch, and you're sitting there, and I'm sure Jed Hoyer's sitting there like kind of just what the hell happened, like what's going on, trying to figure out the solutions. As we've talked about on the podcast, as the coaching staff and the players are trying to figure it out themselves. It's never an easy answer or an easy decision, but they went in that little tailspin there, and it was kind of out of nowhere. But again, going back to today, like they were able to work the way out of that, turn it around at least for the night, put up a big number, pitch really well, play good defense, do all the little things right that we've kind of saw them in Colorado and in Arizona not doing as well as they had previously. So getting back to doing a lot of the little smaller things right. And then obviously, again, putting up the big offensive production. Like that's huge coming off it. I know Jed Hoyer talked about just, yeah, we got to recover from it. This is the start of that, right? Like you were able to put up a big number, blow out a division rival. Like this has to be that recovery because you don't have a whole lot of time left in the season.
We're talking to Ryan Herrera, who was at the ball game in the clubhouse, talking to David Ross, talking to Jed Hoyer before the game. I think one thing we also need to focus on is things are lining up well at the end of the season for the Cubs. If you want to just black out the last 2 weeks, that's okay too. But because of the off day yesterday, they're able to realign the rotation a little bit. So you get Steele tomorrow. They're skipping Tyone until at least the weekend. Is that right, Ryan? And then he would line up, if you map it out, game 162 would be Steele if you need him. Now, if you don't need him and somehow you're lucky enough to have a spot locked up and nothing can change, then you can hold him and you can save him for game 1 of a playoff series. But either way, that's a nice scenario to have for the Cubs.
Yeah,
is that right? Tyone still will pitch?
Yeah, Tyone will pitch this weekend. I think they just because I think his 5th day would have been yesterday on Monday, so able to shuffle around the rotation a little bit, get Assad. I want to say it's Assad, Steele, and Hendricks coming up, and then Tyone will pitch at some point this weekend. But yeah, no, I think that is the benefit of having some of these off days to end the season is that they can shuffle the rotation around a little bit. And now they have lined it up where Justin Steele can potentially pitch that game 162 if needed. I think, like you said, the ideal scenario is that they have a playoff spot locked up and they don't need Steele that Sunday and they can hold him for the wild card round. But if it gets down to it, where that really does come down to that last game of the season, it's going to be very good for them to have their ace on the mound like that. That's an ideal scenario if it comes down to that last game of the season. Skipping Tyone's start helps with that. He'll still pitch at least this weekend for sure, is what we were told. So going from there, but yeah, no, it's lined up to where if they need Justin Steele right there at the end of the season, he should be available in that last game, that Sunday against the Brewers, to potentially get the Cubs into that playoff spot.
5-0. 8-5-0 on the chug tonight. Redeemed himself. And he's a little upset with you. He says you've been very mean to him, blaming him for the losses. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but if you guys would like to make up, this would now be the time.
No,
Cody's mean to me all the time. So I had to give him a little bit.
See how this goes? Back and forth we go, like brothers.
I've been nice to Ryan for months, all right?
I had to give him a little bit of it.
A little bit.
Well, he did redeem himself tonight. He did. He wore pants. He wore rally pants, number 1.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rally sweats. And then a beer, bat, chug for the record books.
What'd you say it was? 8:05?
8-5-0.
8-5-0.
Yeah.
Cody, that's impressive.
8.5. That was pretty impressive.
That's pretty
and
good.
And there was a pretty good foam head on that beer bat, too.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals have been eliminated, Ryan. I don't know if you got that news in the press box, but we broke it here at the
big of you.
Podcast.
Yeah, we did break the news that the Cardinals
Cody,
are eliminated from playoff contention. Breaking news, credit to me. I will say this. I took the over between Kansas State and Missouri. So I was rooting for Missouri to score points on Saturday. Uh-huh. Big of me, credit to me.
What hit?
And they won?
It hit, and they covered and won outright.
Did they ever win? 61-yard walk-off field goal, Luke. Farthest in SEC history. Oh, they won.
That's something.
Go, Mizzou.
There's my nice thing to Ryan.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, Ryan, we'll let you go because you got to be back at the ballpark again, and that was a long rain delay, and none of us liked that part of the evening. So thank you. We'll look for your article at allchgo.com, and we want to tell you in the live chat that, hey, Goose Island is the official beer of CHGO, Chicago's beer since 1988. The beer roster, the Oktoberfest. What did you do, the full pocket Pilsner tonight?
Yes.
Went down smooth.
We need like 2 carts of these.
Well, that was the difference.
These are easier.
The return of the pocket Pilsner was a definitely different.
If I have to start going and get them instead of waiting for Goose Island to show up with
they're
2
not.
carts
There's plenty here because of the tailgates. We got lots of Goose Island in the building right now. So make sure you grab.
Chugging the rest of them are so much harder.
By the way, the next tailgate coming up October 1st against the Broncos. Buy the tickets now. Could be their first win of the season. Grab ultra fresh brewery exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or from their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer, Cody Del Mendo's beer.
My beer. So you know how Deion Sanders been wearing those sunglasses?
Oh, wow. We got to get him some. I know what you're about to say.
All I'm going to, they're not Shady Rays, but the look of them are just like the Shady Rays that I have.
You paid a quarter of the price.
Exactly. And that's what makes Shady Rays so great.
Bingo.
So, I don't know if this could be the beginning of Deion Sanders and Shady Rays, but I think the Shady Rays are so much better than that other brand that he's rocking right now, and he's trying to get all these national talking heads wearing. Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. That's just my opinion as well. Shady Rays is my favorite sponsor here at CHGO.
Right. And, Deion can wear whatever he wants. Host Prime wears Shady Rays.
Host Prime.
So I'd like to be referred to as Host Prime from now on.
Are we now going to call Luke Stuckmeyer
Joey?
Host Prime?
Yeah, he's been Host Prime to me.
Thank you.
Wow, big of you to say.
Thank you.
Take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. That's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Wear Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after you purchase. Together with their customers, Shady Rays is providing much-needed support to nonprofit partners across the U.S. through Shady Rays Impact. From building play sets to pediatric cancer patients to providing young adults with MS, the outdoor adventure of a lifetime, Shady Rays is making an impact in your community and others like it now and for years to come. If you don't love your Shady Rays, exchange for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. Exclusively for our listeners, perhaps even Deion Sanders, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to ShadyRays.com and use code CHGO for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
You think Deion's getting free replacements?
From whatever brand he's using?
Doubt it.
Doubtful.
I bet they don't have polarized lenses like the ones we have.
Legitimately, though.
Be great for the mountains and skiing.
Legitimately, though, the Shady Rays that I have
look just like them.
They look just like the ones that.
That's right.
I was actually thinking that when I saw that Deion was wearing those glasses. I was like, those look like the reflectors that you have with the thing in the middle. That there's
those
no
look
bridge.
Knockoff Shady Rays.
Correct.
They look
That's
like.
what I'm saying.
I actually thought that 100% when I was watching the game last week.
Prime only wears authentic Shady Rays.
Yes.
Where's
I'll bring mine in tomorrow,
Play me my
and
theme
we
music.
can go over this again. If I have to, I'm just saying, Shady Rays is better and cheaper, and you get a new pair if you accidentally break them. And listen, he's on a football field a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sure he might drop them. There's football players that might step on him.
Yeah, in those mosh pit parties they have in the locker room. Yep.
Yeah.
Ravi, thanks for showing up to the pregame show. Probably why the Cubs won, as he points out.
Yep.
Perhaps. People
As
are
well
saying-
as the rally raviolis and the Rice Krispie
Yeah,
treats.
Pat
Yeah,
Hunt's
Pat put the-
rally ravioli came through tonight too.
Yep.
And many
Big of him.
people did say, because I was not at the game, that they won. And
Could be.
it could be. I was on a nice little streak before I went
You were.
on vacation. They had won like
Where were
4
you?
out of 5 at games that I had attended in the second half of the year. And now I guess
Credit is, we're going to shift this narrative right now. It's going to go from the blame of the beer bat, the blame of the attending games in season.
This is what we're
It's
looking
going to
for.
go from blame to credit. It's going to be credit to us.
Credits.
As the CHGO Cubs pod. Credit to us. Where were you when the season turned around?
When we did
on
this
September
to save the
19th.
season.
Where were you when Luke was throwing around the Rice Krispie treats that Cody had the sub 9-second beer bat? Where were you? Where were you?
Were you here?
Yeah.
Were you?
Were you vibing with us?
Maybe this will be a night that we talk about for years and years as Cubs
In
fans.
infamy.
We'll be
Seriously.
talking about it in 10 years after we talk about the summer.
Manifesting it. This is the start of the turnaround. Let's go. Believe.
Absolutely. Again, like I said in pregame, I have no other choice other than to sit here and watch it all play out and believe that's going to happen, because I'm not going to say the season's over and get proven wrong again.
No.
Not doing it again.
There's a better chance right now that the Cubs finish the regular season with 12 straight wins than there is that the Bears will beat the Chiefs. And thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs Postgame Show podcast. 14-1 over the Pirates. We'll be back tomorrow for a postgame show right after another Cubs win. Until then, thanks for watching and fly the W.